Students, this is Dr. Kaur. You wanted some guidance on the sedimentary rocks, and I'm going to give that to you now. So I'm going to share my screen and follow my directions, okay? All right, so sedimentary rocks basically are of two types, two types, and or you can categorize them as three basic types. Let's do that. So there are three types of sedimentary rocks: plastic, biogenic, and chemical. So out of these three categories, I have already told you that there are 6 sedimentary rocks, 3 in the plastic, 1 in the biogenic, and 2 in the chemical group. All right. So these are your 6 sedimentary rocks, G, H, I, J, K, L. And now we are going to look at the characteristics. So the other properties are very important for. So when you study the minerals, minerals make up rocks. So rocks get their properties from minerals. So look at how plastic rocks are classified. Plastic rocks are classified by grain size. So out of these rocks, which ones are large grain, medium grain, and fine grain will decide between conglomerate, sandstone, and shell. Now let's come back to that in a second. Let's look at these other characteristics of these rocks. Now, chemical rocks, if they are biogenic, that means they are made up of limestone or the mineral calcite in it. So all calcite does is reacts to acid. Remember to break a little fresh piece of the sample so that there's a fresh surface where if you drop an acid, a little bit of acid, it will fizz. In a dull surface, it might not, or if there is impurities on other rocks, it might also fizz. So make sure the rock is clean and you break off just a little bit at the edge so where you drop the acid. So first thing you do is out of the 6 rocks, take your acid and on a freshly broken surface, not all surfaces, only freshly broken surface, put a little bit of acid on all 6 of them. See which one reacts. Whichever it reacts is one of your sedimentary rock that is biogenic origin. Now, which one it is, you decide on the sample you get. This based on what is their variable shells and shell fragment content, and if they're in calcite mud. All right, once that is done, then come to the 2 chemical inorganic sedimentary rocks. I call it organic and inorganic, so both are chemical, but this is biogenic origin, this is non-biogenic origin. You have 2 rocks, chert and rock gypsum. You know what chert is? Chert is microcrystalline quartz. What is the characteristics of quartz? Quartz is a very hard mineral. And so if you take quartz and scratch glass, remember you have a glass plate, take all the rocks and scratch glass. The ones that scratches glass is going to be your chert. So that's very easy to identify. So you can identify limestone or one of these chemical rocks. You can very easily identify the chemical rock that is chert. And also gypsum has a very interesting property. Gypsum is number 2 in Mohs hardness scale. So gypsum can be scratched by your fingernail if you have human fingernails. And if you put on plastic fingernails, that won't work. So take your fingernail and scratch the rocks, all of them, and the ones that you think can scratch. So anyway, scratch all of them. And the one that scratches by your fingernail is going to be the rock gypsum. So here you go, 3 of the rocks done. So limestone reacts, chert scratches glass, and gypsum you can actually scratch with your fingernail. Now 3 of the rocks are remaining. These 3 rocks are going to be by default your plastic sedimentary rocks. Plastic sedimentary rocks are characterized by their grain size. So they form on the continent, and so high energy rivers bring down sediments from the mountains. When they cannot carry it, they dump it. And at the bottom of the mountains, they have a lot of different grain size with the largest grains, which looks like rounded pebbles. That's your conglomerate. As the water cleans out of those and the rest of the water goes in, the energy can only carry now sand-sized grains, or in the beach where the oceans are pounding the shoreline, you have the sand. So close your eyes and pick up the rock that feels like sandpaper. That's your sandstone. And the one that is finely layered with very, very thin layering. Now, all sedimentary rocks are layered, remember? Their original horizontality applies to them. So all of them, all right, origin. But the one that is very clearly layered, very fine, thin layers, is your shell or a mudstone. Mud is the finest grain, and that's how you do the 6 rocks. So the 2 rocks that can look a little confusing is I and K, and they might look like they have both have large grains or crystals, but one is made up of fossils which will react to acid or may not, so depending on, so look at those characteristics I told you. So look for the clastic rocks the last. First do the biogenic one, put acid on all of them, whichever reacts. Now, if some other reacts, now that is because there is impurities of calcite on this rock. So make sure it is clean surface when you put the acid, okay? Chert is going to be harder than quartz. Quartz is harder than glass. Glass is glass. Your fingernail is 2.5. Gypsum is 2. So your fingernail should be able to scratch gypsum. And then the 3 clastic rocks are based on grain size. Largest one is conglomerate. The one that feels like sandpaper is your sandstone, and the one that is very finely layered and dark in color also, because mud is dark. So that's your mudstone or shell. Good luck. Hope this helps.